I like the front. I don't know if it's. I know.
Oh, meeting order, gentlemen, John. You know, rise, gentlemen, with your hat, stand at the table, to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So test A, we have audio this time. Very good. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Bill.
Here.
Supervisor Cooper.
Here.
Trustee Happy.
Here.
Trustee.
Here.
Here.
Thank you. Just as a note, I know most people are finding it now, there's a myriad of papers and reports and things back there. Gather or get, whatever you don't get, we wind up throwing away, so we're trying to get a gauge of number who's picking up what, so we're just not killing pine trees for the heck of it. And if there's other reports that you see someone else has that you didn't have, just let me know, we'll make sure we get those to you if you're not on the right one there. So thank you for showing to our business meeting tonight. We'll start off with our new business, so number one is a formal recognition of Eric Mashinsky for 18 years of service for the Gerrish Fire Department. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm guessing I gotta get out of right. First, just a minute, Jim. Does anybody else have any additions, board members addition or correction?
I just wanted to make note to the public that we did add to number 7 on the agenda, which is the split authorization for 306 Sovereign. And that was talked about at the work session, and we did receive the information in time to go ahead and take a vote on it today, so we can get that to confirm.
Thank you for grabbing that from me. You got a there, Michelle. Okay, now, Jim. We're ready for you. Sorry.
Where would you like to do this? Right, it's right here.
Eventually, if there's photos, we'll do it up here. If people can get pictures or whatever they feel like they need to do. If you'll talk loudly, I don't know, do we have anybody on Zoom, Jason?
No.
We have nobody on Zoom, so talk loudly. Go ahead. Okay.
You should stand on my right side. So Eric is just recently, as you know, has been promoted to the police chief. So prior to that, he was a police officer and on our fire department as well. And now as police chief, with the duties he has now, he's decided to step down from the fire department because we're going to be working closely together as chief kind of thing here. So Eric has decided to step down. Eric has been on the fire department for 18 years. One of the things that always stuck out to me with Eric was his mechanical skills. We could put Eric at a truck and we could figure out how to make it run without much direction at all. He just knew how to do this and stuff. Eric was really good at that. So we really appreciate that and his time on the department. We've got a couple things for him. On the back of our coats, we have our name is on the back bottom part of our coat. So if we're all in our gear, we can't see each other very well because we got masks on and all that. We can see the name on the back of the coat. So nobody really wanted Eric's name because they didn't know how to spell it. So we're gonna give you your name back. And then for Eric's 18 years of service, this is the shield that goes on the helmet, on the front of the helmet. Put that on a plaque and recognizing Eric for 18 years of service. So it's gonna be a pleasure working with you, chief to chief, for a while, and I look forward to it. So thank you, Eric. Okay. Thank you.
Eric, on behalf of the board, thank you very much for doing service to the township and longevity, I really appreciate it. I get back to the approval of the meeting. Do I have a motion to approve it, with that addition number seven?
I'll make that motion.
Any support?
I'll support.
Support by Larry, moved by Michelle. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed the same, and then of course, we're going to approve the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to presume, or, excuse me, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Michelle. Support by Larry. Got you again, Mary.
That's okay, I don't care.
Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Same motion carried. Number two, to our agenda is we need to appoint or reappoint, shall we say, Tom Barber, the chairman of the planning commission for a 3-year term from 7/1/24 to 7/1/27. We received the communication from him that he would indeed like to continue on. Tom does a great job on our planning commission and leading discussions. And so I would entertain a motion to reappoint, I should say, Tom Barber, the chairman of the planning commission for a 3-year term.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Terry, you have support?
I'll support.
Support by Mary Jo, trustee Happy. Any further discussion, folks? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose the same, motion carries. The number three, the board has been investigating. We've had an incredible amount of difficulty with the township compost gate, and we've serviced it numerous times. And so the treasurer recruiter is in charge of compost gate activities and investigated getting a service agreement for a couple services a year, just to make sure that things are working properly, and so we don't get caught with inopportune times, shall we say, with things being down, with not being maintenance appropriately. So with that, I would entertain a motion that the board approve the preventative maintenance contract with ESCON for the township compost gate. And then the board authorized treasurer Kruger to sign the contract in the amount of $2,037 on behalf of the township.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, trustee Newton,
I'll second it.
seconded by trustee Hoppe. Any further discussion? That's what discussion is. Right.
I just wanted to let everybody know that, up until now, we haven't had a so-called preventative maintenance agreement with anybody. And already this season, which we didn't open up till end of April, beginning of May, or it was mid-April, it was a little early this year. We've had trouble with the gate 2 different times. It's not something you can just call anybody for. They kind of specialize, have to be specialized in this type of thing. So the company suggested that we get on a preventive maintenance program in hopes that, I mean, we had to spend more money than this to get the gate working already this season. So moving forward, hopefully by having this, we maintain it instead of be reactive when it breaks.
Thank you, Michelle. Anybody else have any comment? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 4, I'm asking the board to look at approving the Gerrish Township Building Emergency Action Plan, and it would be added to the employee manual addendum. This couple of, I don't know, whenever you guys purchase your security system, a year or 2 ago, or whatever.
and more than a year.
Right, anyways, during that time, they purchased a security system for the building. And to include cameras and various panic buttons and things like that. And there was no plan that went along with that to explain to employees what they're supposed to do in the event of a mass casualty or a shooter or anything like that. And so I authored a policy so that the employees have that. They then have to also be trained on what to do in the event of. And so this is the last piece of that, which is to approve that document. This document is not a document available to the public, because it talks about what we do to keep people safe and where to go and that type of thing. So, I'm looking for a motion to approve that document that I provided to you folks several of times, actually, and we finally got to one we were resting on. So I would entertain a motion that the board approve the Gerrish Township Building Emergency Action Plan to be added to the employee manuals in the den. Motion,
Make that motion.
motion by Clerk Squires, your support. Support. Support by trustee Newton. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Number 5 on the agenda, we have been talking now for at least a couple months. At least, since we first reviewed our insurance in April for the participating plan of Michigan Townships. And it was presented at that time, there is a rider basically that covers cyber insurance, which for some of you folks, you can sometimes have ransomware and then they try and sell your stuff back to you. You'll get them to basically go in the back door someplace, take your information, and then it has names, dates of birth, social security number, personal identifiers. It's not just as simple as that. You as an employer, you have to go back and you have to have a plan for notifications for all the rest of that. This township's never had any of that in its current participating plan year round. And so we kicked it around here a couple different times now for about 2 months. And settled on, I guess, entertaining that tonight.
Yeah.
And there's a couple different variables of levels, like all insurance of coverage. And so I would entertain a motion tonight that the board approve the Michigan Township Participating Part Plan rider to our township policy for cyber insurance. And it would be in the amount of $250,000 of insurance, and then a cost of $1,217 per year. A board member wish to make that.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Clerk Squires,
I will second
supported by trustee Happy. Any further discussion? Explanation?
I do.
You do, go ahead.
I do. Just wanted to say, I think when we initially started talking about this, when our whole insurance is being renewed for the year, and our insurance person did speak to it, and I think at that point, for whatever reason, we, sometimes think that we're not gonna be affected by that kind of thing, and we could have protection, we could have all of that, but I think what did it for me was the fact that after Grand Traverse County, they got it, they're huge, and they did have cyber insurance. I don't know the details of what the coverage was and how much it's having to be covered. But if that's a little over $100 a month, you have $250,000 of coverage if we end up being here.
Yeah, very good. Okay, the next one up on my card here is a late, I should say a late payment report tonight. We looked at it at the work session. I know there's one out there yet. Okay. Is for the split approval. And what this is it's to repair actually, and an attorney is done on behalf of an individual. Their house was built and apparently built, as we find sometimes, on a little small chunk of somebody else's property. So the people that are affected, meaning that have that small chunk of that little of the house on there, is the one that's okay in initiating this split to redraw the line. It's been through our proper zoning and also been through the assessor. And so this really just needs our approval to make this thing a formal thing to adjust it properly to correct what I call a sin of the past. So I would entertain a motion that the board approve the split approval for the property at 306 Sovereign belonging to Henry Little, and of course allowing his attorney William Carey to sign on his behalf. By the motion, I'll make that motion. Vote by trustee Newton,
I'll second it.
support by trustee Happy. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, opposed, the same, that motion carried. And then, lastly, and I realize I'm without orders. Can't figure out how that happened, but anyhow, we were asked by our Gerrish Township Parks and Recreation Committee to basically accept their intended survey of our community for Gerrish Township Parks and Recreation Survey. All the board members should have had that copy, got that copy, and so they're asking for our formal approval for the document, and then ultimately, folks, this document will get put out, obviously, on the internet. And Mary Jo, you're on Parks and Recs, maybe you can, I mean, is there any other way in which this thing is gonna be circulated out there, or what's the?
Newspaper.
Oh,
And the newspaper and on the Facebook page and on the website, I think that's it. Yeah,
It'll just be like, a quick link, you'll hit on and the survey will pop up and, this is being done, it's not being done by us, it's being done by the company that.
Northeast Michigan, they're in the grant area. The Northeast Michigan, what's the government, I believe it's NCOG, I believe is their, no, NCOG. NCOG, and this is a necessary process in order to apply for grants appropriately, to bring them into the township, so. Without further ado, accept the motion
I'll make that motion.
to accept the Gerrish Township Parks and Rec survey as submitted. There we go.
I'll make that
All right, you got the
motion.
motion. Got support, ordered by Treasurer Kruger. Any further discussion, board members? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, oppose the same, that motion carries. And the agenda was rather light. Well, so we are on to any public comment. You do, yeah, Tim, you want to come on up and?
I just did a brief announcement. My name is Jim Osling. I'm running for the Gerrish Township trustee, and I just would appreciate your support in the August election. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mike Briggs back there, Mike?
Howdy, I'm Mike Briggs here, and this time I'm representing the Roscommon County Economic Development Committee. And just wanted to, I'm from Gerrish Township, and I'm on that committee amongst others. We are, have a millage proposal that's up this August. It's a joint thing between the REDC, the Roscommon Economic Development Committee, and also the Michigan State Extension Program. And just quickly, again, it's this August 6th is what the vote is. It's a joint, we're both gonna be getting some of the funds. It's basically to reinitiate funds that were cut off, not refunded because the budget stopped a couple of years ago in 2022.
Is that the county budget?
Yes. And basically, it's the millage it requests is for 0.13 mils. So if you have $100,000 property, resident, whatever, the taxable value would be $50,000, and it's roughly $6.50 for that. And everything scales up from there. The Economic Development Committee is made up of volunteers from the county, various townships. Right now, I believe we have 9 members, and we basically leverage a lot of different funds for supporting the current businesses that are here, bringing in new businesses, and then also workforce development as well. And with the money that we brought in so far, we've actually been able to leverage for every dollar we get from the county or other federal grants, we've been able to actually make that $17 worth of funds that we brought in particular, like the ARP funds from some of the business stuff, and also help people get some loans. The MSU extension program is dealing with some of the 4-H programs. It's not necessarily all 4-H or farm related issues. It helps with the education, natural resource development here, as well as some of the aquatic prevention with some of the wash facilities and education. helps with some of the soil and gardening info or education with some helps assist residents in maintaining some of their gardens and lawns. It provides low-income seniors some access to food and local food while supporting farmers and the vendors. It provides education and nutrition and health as well for all ages. And has a food safety program, and then in addition to that, it helps educate a lot of the different officials. So basically, both these organizations are leveraging other money, and just this is an info thing for people to make a determination on, and they can use your support. And that's all I have. I do have some brochures that I've left on the counter back there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Public comment?
Yeah,
Yes, sir, come on up.
I just have an announcement also. My name's Ed Anderson. I'm gonna be running for township trustee also, so I just appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Anybody else in the audience? Yes, sir. Come on up to the podium. As they say.
Good evening, my name's Leonard Culver. We reside at 141 Juniper Street here in Gerrish Township. And as a resident and a taxpayer and a concerned party, I'd like to ask a question as to how much involvement the township has had with the county, working in parallel paths to correct the septic issues. About the same answer I got last night when I asked the Gula people this question. If the water quality is as dire as was reported out last night at the Gula meeting, the public health and safety is at peril. A large number of water wells are not safe. The lake has imminent danger levels. If the facts and figures they report in open meeting being recorded are accurate, who is carrying this forward? There are after all, an extension of the township, and the county health department has been put on notice. Has the state been informed of the lake conditions? There are funds available to the county to assist with areas of demonstrated water quality problems. The state watershed implementation grants. This requires that the county adopt a septic management ordinance that requires inspections. So let's throw out the cherry picking, study finding whether grounded in fact or just to further an agenda. It's going to cost us in the court of public opinion. And get realistic as what's going on in the marketplace. This state went out one time once before with water crisis in Flint. And a large part of that rested on who knew what, when, and how did they react to the information. I'd like to ask the township to request of the county in writing, the county health department issue a report of findings and positions. Yes.
I'd love to answer the question for you directly. I haven't been around long enough to know if they did that or did not do that, but it seems like a reasonable inquiry to see what the county health department's findings and positions are. I gotta think it's been done. I hope it has, but nonetheless, appreciate your thoughts and comments today. Is there anyone else have any more other comment? All right, not seeing anything. We're on now to township board members for any announcements or pay attention, Larry, Terry, or anything else you want to say. So Terry, we'll start with you.
I'm all set, right? Thank you.
You got me at the last meeting, so.
You're off the hook there.
All right, thank you. Larry. Oh, okay. Good job.
I've got nothing.
And Michelle?
Act Now picnic is Monday 15th. At the Township Arena. And 6 o'clock. And the clerk's office is very busy with ballots. They're all going out, 600 and some, and we've got almost 200 back already, which is really good for that quick of a turnaround. That's about it.
For myself, about an hour before the meeting, that's where I was kind of diligent, trying to throw something out on Facebook. GFL, our trash contractor, contacted me, at home, on my cell phone, and to advise me that they were probably going to see the Tuesday pickups. And, they did not get to everything. If you go to your Gerrish Township Facebook page, they gave me a little map and section yet that has not been picked up. They'll be up first thing in the morning to grab a hold of that first section. For the section that didn't, and yes, I'm in that section, I didn't get picked up either, so. If I could possibly spread the word out there, please don't call me at 8 o'clock in the morning for the first 2 hours that you didn't get your trash picked up. It's been very busy. And I will say this, I've had what I consider to be very good customer relations from GFL. When people do let me know, I am able to get to somebody and get some things rectified. That being said, patience is the biggest word when you talk about this last weekend. Obviously, it was huge. I'm not surprised they did 2 full loads and then weren't able to get back in time to dump those loads. That's what caused the problem, or else they would have been back up, so it was out of their control. But they'll be back up in the morning. Michelle, you just said, oops, I forgot something.
I forgot 2 things.
Go ahead.
Throwing the dates out there for everybody, July 27th is when early voting starts. It will run for 9 days, the 2 weekends and the week in between before the actual Tuesday election. There is no early voting on Monday the 5th. Also forgot to mention, and we will put it out there on our website, Facebook page, but I inadvertently scheduled the work session during early voting, always the first Thursday of the month. So we're gonna bump that out so that we have somewhere to have our work session, because it'll be early voting going on. And we're bumping that to the 8th of August. Like I said,
Board
we'll
members,
have that out there.
August 8th, 9 o'clock. Your August 1st meeting has been moved to the 8th in consideration of the voting piece. And that'll be at the regular 9 o'clock in the morning here.
Work session.
It's a work session. It does kind of put us on a tight wrap around this,
It does.
these couple of days, it's hard to get agendas out and coordinated, and I apologize because that's a little bit of what I experienced here on the agenda piece. Was going back and forth. Anybody else, any other board member? Comments? Questions, criticisms? Good? All right, very good. You entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting? That motion. Thank you, trustee Newton. Support, anyone?
I'll support.
Supported by Mayor Joe Oppie. Any further discussion whether we ought to adjourn this? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those the same, motion carried. Thank you, and thank you to everybody that cared enough to show up tonight, the agenda, or to give the business of the township in the public. Thank you.